What's up, folks? Since the NBA Finals are going on right now, and that's pretty much what everyone is talking about, I want to go back in history and take a look at some of the worst NBA Finals of all time. And as you guys probably figured, most of these series are incredibly lopsided. With that being said, let's get started. Number 5, the 2007 Finals between the Cleveland Cavaliers and San Antonio Spurs. Although nobody really expected the Cavs to win, this series was pretty hyped up. The new up-and-coming 22-year-old superstar going up against a Spurs team that has been dominant for years. LeBron just had a historic performance in the Eastern Conference Finals against Detroit, and it was his first appearance in the finals. Unfortunately, once the series started, it was pretty clear that the Cavs were heavily outmatched. Tony Parker was just running circles around the Cavs defense for the entire series, which didn't really last long anyway. LeBron finished the series averaging 22, 7, and 7, which looked decent, but he shot only 36% from the field and 20% from 3. Statistically speaking and taking efficiency into account, this is LeBron's worst playoff series ever, but he gets a pass since his team was just awful. The last 2 games were really close though, so I guess that's something. Number 4, the 2001 Finals between the Philadelphia 76ers and Los Angeles Lakers. I know Game 1 of this series was amazing, Allen Iverson was phenomenal, and we had a great iconic moment. But the rest of the series was pretty bad. After losing Game 1, the Lakers won the next 4 games by an average of 10 points to cap off arguably the greatest playoff run in history. The Sixers had the MVP, the Defensive Player of the Year, and the Sixth Man of the Year on the team. Contrary to what most people say nowadays, they were actually a great team, but Shaq and Kobe were just too much to handle. Despite Iverson averaging 36 points per game in the series, the Sixers did not have anybody else who could consistently create their own shot, and their lack of versatility made this a quick series. Number 3, the 1959 Finals between the Minneapolis Lakers and the Boston Celtics. Alright, so we all know the 50s and 60s were dominated by the Celtics. The Lakers made the finals a bunch of times, but they lost to them almost every single time. The 1959 Finals was without a doubt their most lopsided matchup. Coming into the series, the Celtics won their last 18 games against the Lakers. First off, just look at this Lakers roster in the series. Besides Elgin Baylor, have you heard of anybody else on this team? Now look at this Celtics roster. Bill Russell, Sam Jones, Bob Cousy, Bill Sharman, Tommy Heinsohn. They got like 6 or 7 Hall of Famers. Russell even averaged almost 30 rebounds per game in this series, which is crazy. The Celtics swept them easily, while Elgin Baylor only managed to average 23 points per game on 33% shooting. And number 2, the 2002 Finals between the Lakers and the Nets. Believe it or not, I don't actually think this is the worst finals ever, but for everyone who watched this series when it was happening, you know it was a snooze fest. Don't get me wrong, the Nets were a good team, but honestly, the Eastern Conference was just so bad around this time. It's hard to tell how good they really were. In my opinion, I think they would have lost to any of the top 4 or 5 teams from the West. That's why everyone believed that the 2002 Western Conference Finals between the Lakers and the Kings that year were the real finals. But I'm not going to get into that series, that's a whole different story. So in the finals, Game 1 and Game 3 were okay, and the Nets kept those games pretty close. But just like the Sixers series, Shaq was just impossible to stop. Apparently, when Jason Collins is your best option against a 7'1", 330-pound superstar, you're going to get slaughtered. And last but not least, at number 1, the 1971 Finals between the Milwaukee Bucks and Baltimore Bullets. For some context, the Bucks were led by Oscar Robertson and a young Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, back when his name was still Lou Alcindor. The Bullets featured Wes Unseld, Gus Johnson, and Earl the Pearl Monroe. On paper, the Bullets were a good team, although they only made the finals with a 42-40 record. But the main problem was that their players were so banged up and tired by the time they reached the finals that they just could not compete. They had to endure 2 tough 7-game series in the previous 2 rounds, and then they just ran out of juice. Gus Johnson even missed 2 of the 4 games with injuries. I mean, look at the difference between the team's shooting percentages. In the 4 games played, the Bullets lost by an average of 12 points. To this day, the 1971 Finals is still the worst NBA Finals of all time. If you guys have never watched it, I'd recommend it stay that way. And thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to subscribe and leave a like and all that good stuff, and I'll see you next time.